Industry is stinky, ugly, and takes up a lot of space. Is it possible to build a city without industry? That is what I am going to find out in this video, and we are going to do so fully vanilla. So nothing unlocked, we start at 0 milestones, just how you would start a normal city. For that, I built out a big grid and then started zoning as you do. A bit of commercial, a bunch of residential, and we of course need power, for which the only suitable option is a wind turbine, having it placed right here at the border of our current map, a water tower, as well as sadly a sewage outlet that will pollute our river, but there's no way around it, so it will have to do. I hooked all of them up, and already all the things that are left is industry demand, but we're not going to cave in. We're not going to build industry. And the houses are filling in with probably not too many jobs. The only job you can take is one in an office. Well, we don't have offices yet, so you can only work in a convenience store. For example, here at this company that I cannot pronounce, at Pilotee that sells vehicles. So you can sell vehicles or food or pharmaceuticals, and they have a bunch of employees, but there will not be much demand for it further. So at some point during this game there will be a problem with jobs until possibly we unlock offices that could solve some of these issues. Now industry demand is the only thing that's sky high, everything else is 0. But I hope that demand for these other things will come back at due time. And with that we have unlocked the first milestone, as well as the pop musician mansion, which allows us medium density housing, which we are going to use, as well as some things that will create new expenses, which is not too great. So we will now zone medium density, probably even 2 rows of it. So we have lots of people moving in, and even more of the low density right here. And further we need city services, which will be a problem because it will cost us money, but there's not really anything we can do about it. So let's put down a small medical clinic here, and we will spend the few points we have, where are our points, in the development tree, on a crematorium, because it takes way less space than the cemetery. And now that these two are set up, we are burning a ton of money. But the great thing is people are moving in, and they are moving in fast. So since people are moving in fast, let's expand the entire operation we have to the other side, while all these people move in, and then see where our profit margin is at. And even while building this new area, we reach milestone 2, which gives us even higher density housing, these somewhat bigger buildings that we can directly put down here on this side. Hope that people will move in. And we don't even have garbage disposal or schools yet. One of these issues we're going to fix though by building a recycling center, or let's say I would like to, but we first need to make money. So let's balance our services and try to make a profit. I already put down the budget for services all the way. So only thing we can do would be to increase taxation, which I don't want to do, or hope that just more people move into the city. So only thing to do is wait. So now the amount of people moving in is slowing down. So to not keep on losing money, I disabled the services for healthcare. I put them all the way down anyway, and I disabled the buildings to actually make a bit of money, because we need 800,000 to build the recycling building. The normal landfill would be way cheaper, and actually this might in this case convince me to build it, because also the upkeep appears to be lower. This will create pollution, which we tried to avoid in the first place, but then this is probably how it will have to be, sadly. So then, with a way lower budget, we are building the landfill right here at the bottom of the city. So it will be right here, where it will get a bunch of space to put trash, which is the entire point of the landfill. I hope that at some point I can get rid of it again, but currently then this is how it will have to be. And now we are running at a incredibly large deficit, which usually I get rid of by building industry and specialized industry, which is not allowed right now. So let's just pray that we don't run out of money before we can get really more demand. Maybe to increase demand, let's build also a elementary school and even a small high school just right here. And same thing, we're going to decrease the budget for it a lot because they're probably running over capacity anyway. The goal is for this to make our citizens happy so that they will actually want to move in, and it appears to be working as our growth is picking back up. Another option, we're getting most of our taxes from commercial anyway, so why not lower residential tax for a while so that people really want to move in, and let's monitor if this has an effect on the amount of people moving in or not. And immediately after the change, as you can see, it appears as though the amount of people moving in is increasing, and just right now it dropped, but it is climbing back up. So I assume it is working, and I'm going to keep it this way until we are really running tight with money. Next milestone reached, which gives us fire and police. A problem because it will cost more money, and some development points, but we don't really have anything to spend it on. So we just wait and watch our population growing, which is now growing at a way faster rate than before. So hopefully at some point we will also solve this deficit even without industry. This is probably the entire challenge of this video. Can you solve this before going bankrupt? And will people actually move in even if they don't get an industry job? For the record, unemployment is about 70% because, well, where are these people supposed to work? There's like literally no jobs here. In the meantime, actually one thing we can spend points on is the advanced road tools, as well as actually parking areas, because I think parking areas makes people want to move into the city. So we will build a few parking areas where they make sense. So next to the schools, why not? And they need electricity. So we need another wind turbine, hook that up and get back to the parking. We'll add a few more parking spaces right here. And it appears as though people are happy about it. So I'm going to keep it that way, and another one right here. They could potentially even create revenue, though I think they realistically are just costing money. But if it results in more people moving in, I will be happy about it. Now our city is growing steadily, but there are now a bunch of crime symbols popping up, which means that it's probably time to build a small police station, even though our budget looks horrible. Or we just see what happens. As long as population is growing, I mean, let's just see what happens. We don't really have any capital to spare, and there's really a big gap between revenue and expenses, which all come from service, which is already everything down to 50%. With just waiting, we've reached milestone 4, which gives us offices. And now this might be a game changer because they offer jobs and they probably offer a lot of taxes. So they're probably great, as well as parks, something that we might use, or policies, but let's see if we actually need something. So first of all, offices. Put them right here. Why is it not zoning here? I don't understand. Let's quickly try to fix it. Add all the offices we can. You get in here. Then we get low rent housing. That's nice. So we can put that, let's put it here in the back. These will be kind of skyscrapers, I think. We get districts, which I don't think give us anything, but we could check out the city policies. Taxi fare, well, doesn't give us anything. Import city services we could use, but they create costs. So, I mean, why would we do that? It costs money, so let's not do it. And just see if anything new happens, and hopefully offices spring up. We could build a park. They are not too expensive, so let's get a park in right here next to the parking lot. This should also make people happy and hopefully make them move in. I mean, we can even build another park over here. Bam. Make people happy, make people move in. Transportation is still too expensive. Same with fire and police, but for now it's working. And taking a look at unemployment, it's now almost up to 80%. What we could do for sure is putting taxes for offices at 0%. Because, well, first of all, we don't have any offices yet. And maybe this will make them want to move in, and then later we can raise taxes again. Once they are here, they could only be here, but still there's none. Let's see if anything would change without doing anything. We just got a new signature building, which we should place because it increases happiness as far as I think it works. So put it down right here, and we have a lot of police indicators. So finally I will build a small police station and immediately go to the budget and defund it, same as with the parks, at least put it down somewhat. Now after a good bit more of simulating, we have reached Tiny Town, which gives us mixed use housing, as well as a few new policies and a post office. And luckily a bit more money because we were just down to our last 100,000, which now we gained again some money, but it will last for not more than 2 months because we have a ton of expenses. So let's try to play with taxes and see if we can manage these better. So first, go back to services. We have to have the healthcare a bit increased. It was originally 50%, I put it to 100 because people were complaining. Garbage at 50, that works well. Education as well. Police works fine. Parks work fine. So all these work perfectly fine. So let's play with taxation. We have residential, which we currently have at 0%, and with that we are getting about 300 inhabitants per hour plus. So let's try for a while to increase that taxation back to the default 10%. And also we don't have any office buildings in our city, so why not subsidize them, hope that some move in, and then increase the taxes on them. Let's see if with that something changes. So after simulating for a while, residential makes us 15k, so a bit, but really it doesn't do any big difference. But for some reason commercial demand is now back up, probably because all this commercial is filled in. So we are going to use that to zone some more commercial right here instead of some of the offices, and that should really help out a lot because, well, all our taxes come from commercial, but with raising the taxes now people are moving out of the city. So since it is not creating really much income and it slows down city growth, which we really need to make money, I put it back down to 0% and hope that very soon people will move back in, even though we have an 80% unemployment rate, because our money is really dwindling fast. What we can do to slow it down, turn off the landfill and only turn it on once people complain. That solves us about 50k. And we could do the same with the crematorium. With the hospital and the schools, it doesn't really work that way. So let's also turn off the crematorium, which saves us another 50k. So now we're only losing 50k, which is a good place to start. But this for sure is not the end goal of how to get profitable. So I will do this now for the next while until we are profitable. But the goal of this episode is to get a sustainable, profitable city without industry. And turning things on and off the entire time does not satisfy this goal. So we continue trying. But one thing to note, our traffic setup, which I just now tried for the first time, actually works quite well. I'm really happy with it. It's not how I wanted it set up. I wanted this to be a highway and then actual off-ramps. Another problem is electricity because, well, I don't really have a place to put the wind turbine where it makes a lot of electricity. Like 1 megawatt is like the maximum I can get, which is really not sufficient. But I have no way of solving this problem because expanding would, again, there's tile upkeep, increase the amount of money we spend. And now we see the effects of turning off the services. So need to turn back on the hearses so they can pick up all these people. Oh, and the tornado just spawned. And this might destroy the entire project. So a tornado just spawned. You just saw it. I'm glad I was recording in the middle of what we're doing. And I think this... Oh, I'm stunned. I think this probably just made tons of problems for us. People are dying, which means less taxes, less demand for offices. Let's hope we can recover from that. Now the hearses have gathered their patients, so I turned them off. The hospital has to keep running because they have to get rid of these patients. So it seems like I've now finally found a way to operate profitably consistently. So it involves still the same taxation as we had before. A few new offices were added. This is why we now have larger office revenue. And then turning off trash, police and crematorium, all after each other and for a while until multiple of these symbols pop up, and then I will collect it all and turn it off again. That is the strat, and over time I'm with this making small profits, so at least we are not running the risk of bankruptcy. Also, the police station has the same thing as the ambulance, where if you have collected criminals and you turn it off, they will be released and moved back to the crime scenes, which is a problem. But to me, it seems like if you turn it off while they are in the police car, they will disappear. Of course, this is not a strat we want to have at the end, but for now, it is what we need to, well, survive somewhat. Good thing is, every once in a while, we're getting new demand for commercial, which I then build because, well, these are the ones that pay us all the taxes. And I'm really wondering why I'm not getting any offices built, because I think they need education, but even though I don't have these educations, there are people in my city that are highly educated. So they should move into offices, which is not happening, and I don't know what the problem is. Also, our medical clinic is highly overfilled, so I will put the budget back to 100%, so hopefully it operates more efficiently, and we're still making like now tiny profit, so at least we're not going bankrupt. Let's just continue this and hope that at some point now, I mean, look at the progression. First, there was no way we could break even or make profit. Now we're slightly making a tiny profit, even right now with the trash collection active. So if we disable this in just a second, we will make 50k a month, which is not too bad. And if we just continue this, hopefully soon we can make a profit without all these cheaty strategies. We reach Boomtown, but it really doesn't give us anything. The next point that will give us anything is Big Town with high density housing. But it gave us money, which makes our operation at least more comfortable. So we're disabling now the hearses again, which now we're making 40,000 in profit, somewhat, which is great. If we would have offices, I think we could work quite comfortably, but like offices are zoned here and they are not moving in. They don't want to. And also to note, we still don't have a fire department, and at some points we have traffic backing up, but as long as it resolves after each other, I don't really need to change anything right now, but probably soon. Actually, a simple fix we can do very quickly is extending these roads to the next cross section, and then also disabling that people can move here. Here it is already done, so get rid of these crossings, and this should offer up some more options instead of going over here. Yeah, and it cleaned up traffic quite quickly. I'm really wondering about this office demand. It says that everything is in its favor, We have the labor, we have the demand, we have taxes, but I still don't want to settle. Maybe you actually need industrial demand, but I'm not so sure about it. So now it's looking good. We are making between 60 to sometimes up to 100,000 a month. And I have decided to buy another tile, and this one, I'll explain why. It's because of the wind turbines. They cost 7,500 upkeep and they produce 1.4 as the maximum to like 1 megawatt of electricity, which is like not much. And I already have like 6 of them. So if I place one here that produces 5 megawatts, I can basically delete other wind turbines. Basically with this 3, I can delete the other 6, which in total will save me money, even including the tile upkeep that I had to buy. So since it's 100% profit decision, it was a no-brainer. But why is this not connecting? But it's not too obvious that it works. So we get rid of these wind turbines here, and if we need some, we will just build them where they make more electricity, so we need less of them. Yes, so we have deleted 6 wind turbines, built 3, and we are still overproducing electricity. So with that, we're saving 3 times 7.5k, and we're paying 20k upkeep. So it's already an okay investment, and no doubt it will be a good investment. And now we're making over 100,000, but that's with the services disabled. But it's looking up, and for some reason commercial demand is always increasing and still no office demand. Our city is now up to 10,000 inhabitants. I just had to build a medical clinic because this small clinic is really not doing it. For now I'm keeping both, but we will see. And I have to build another water tower, which I will promptly do. And with the clinic and the water tower, a lot of our money is spent again. So hopefully nothing urgent comes up and we get our next milestone soon. And we have reached Busy Town, which gives us another injection of money and nothing else useful. Now we're at a point where I'm letting the landfill run constantly at minus 30% budget because it's running full and otherwise it's not processing any trash. The alternative is that I have to build another one, which is probably what will happen, and then I'm just going to disable this one and have it stored because the upkeep cost would be higher. And the initial grid we built is now really much filling up, which is a good thing. And I'm currently not building any more low density, even though we have demand for it. And I'm just hoping that they will move into medium density housing. Now with the new money that we found, it is time to disable this one for good. It will just cost 1,000 a month, which is fine. To build a new landfill. Actually, what happens if I now make this landfill smaller? I cannot do it. Okay, so I am just going to build a new one, give it a somewhat large area to work with, and have it collecting everything. And I'm now just going to keep it running, because even with it running constantly, and even with the crematorium and the medical clinic running, and both of them running, we are profitable. So we are right now really in a really good spot where I'm going to disable this one clinic because we have this other one just for now, which gives us good profit, and I can turn back on the police station. So now we have every single service that we need. We have turned on and we are still making a bit of profit. One thing, well, there's 2 things that are missing: fire trucks and post service. These 2 we don't have yet, but I don't really need them right now. At least no one is complaining directly. I have people that give me minus 11 debuff for mail service, so this is probably what I'm going to do next. But there are other issues to address. We don't really have much space, and we have, again, at some points traffic jam. But with all these new services turned on, I'm just going to let it run for a bit and just to see what happens. How many more people are moving in? Can we just increase our money to, let's say, back again over 200,000 without a milestone? Just letting it run for a bit and then see what happens. And while we have money, I want to try one thing, which is maybe we could make money exporting electricity. So if I build a transformer right here, which is now connected to the outside, we should be exporting electricity, 1.8 megawatts, which gives us 3,000. Now, if we build another wind turbine, which costs us 7,000 in upkeep, at an additional 5 megawatts connected up, it gives us basically the amount it costs or a bit less. Oh, actually it gives us 10k in profit for service trade. So we're actually making money with this wind turbine. So let's build 2 more. So currently our service trade is at like 16,000. So we're going to spend 15,000 more in upkeep for 2 more wind turbines, connect them up and see what the service trade does. It goes up to 41,000, which is better than it was before. So it was cheaper to build these wind turbines, resulting in a bit of profit. So this single transformer is actually making profit for us, which I'll take. Just these wind turbines here on the cliffs. So our economy, instead of having industry, is exporting electricity. But oh well. We have more demand for more commercial and we have more demand for different things. And there's another tornado. Yeah, please stay away. Which I want to use a bit more of this area down here. So I am thinking of adding commercial. I wonder what the ground pollution is and the noise pollution and such things. Well, the wind direction is not good for what we built here, but I want to do this. So add commercial down here, and then I want to add an alleyway once the commercial is built like this, so it doesn't de-zone, and then add on both sides. I can probably get in, let's put some row housing here, and I will get in a bit more low density just along here. And now we are making 120,000 with all services turned on, and demand is already back for low density. I will add low density on the other side of this one-way street as well. I'm doing this because we need to build other collectors at other places soon as well. I could make it that it is on this side on the street, so they can leave in both directions. This makes more sense, I guess. I'm just waiting for this all to fill up, then I'll add an alley and another row of low density homes very soon. So now that everything is zoned here, I will build this alley until the end and add some more low density housing alongside it, finishing up this entire area. Now the last thing that's left to do, the city works well, no one is complaining about anything. We're making 133,000, but not all services are at 100%. But at the same time, we have taxes at 0 for residential. So I will turn back up the operating cost for garbage. For healthcare, it's already 100%. I will turn it back up for education, for police, and for parks. And even with that, we are still profitable. And you don't need them at 100%. But with that, we have a normally functioning city. All these signs were promptly taken out. We have a ton of demand with commercial, low density, and of course industry demand, but we're not going to build it. Sadly, no offices. If you have any ideas why offices are not building, let me know. I would really like to do a next episode where we add offices, but I really have no idea how to do it. I will look into it. But so this is a city without industry that is profitable and working well. So if you don't want to pollute, if you don't want these giant areas with industry, you don't need, if you're fine with 60% unemployment, which could be solved by offices if you figure out how they can be built. I find this quite interesting and also quite surprising that it works. It is just one point in the game where it's hard, but if you overcame that, you will really quickly make a ton of money. Thank you for watching. Happy gaming.